Welcome to Rescio Radio. I'm your show host, Chris Resciatar, licensed loan officer with NFM Lending. We are here in the studio with Preston Salem from Home Inspection Carolina and Pamela Smith from Red Fox Realty Group at Keller Williams. And we've been talking about the 7 key strategies to selling your luxury home. And Pamela, you mentioned under your multifaceted approach to marketing a luxury listing, we went through a bunch of different things between photography and video, aerial shots, showcasing the home with events, leveraging neighbors. You also said something about personalizing a website. What does that look like?
So with those videos and with some of the events, all of those things go into a personalized website that then gets promoted within the social medias, within the email campaigns, within to other luxury agents.
Is that something that you do for even a listing that's not a luxury listing?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
A lot of them I do. It's just a different, it's not quite as involved.
Okay.
But it's definitely there. It's where we promote it. The luxury one is just a little more in depth and involved, a few more pages with it, not just a video.
That's cool. I know some agents do that, but I don't think it's as common phenomenon as you think.
Yeah.
So you also touched on social media.
Yes.
So how do you use social media to help sell a luxury listing?
So I work with it. I actually have someone that works with it.
You know a guy.
I know a guy. Actually, I know a very great gal.
Okay, great.
Yeah. She's awesome. I'm the negotiator. She definitely does a lot of the details for me. I definitely have a social media presence, and yet we don't want to just lean on simply me, right? We want to connect the other vendors. We want to push it as far as we can with it. And then, of course, you pay for quite a bit of marketing with social media. I want to make sure that I reach as far as I can.
So you're even investing some of your own dollars to help some of your listings sell.
When it comes to the luxury, one of the things I like to say to them is, I'm investing in your home right now. It's going to cost me quite a bit to put this on the market. I want to make sure that it's priced right and that we're going to work well together.
Yeah, because I guess if you have a client that doesn't want to price it in the range that's going to sell a house, why would you invest several thousand of your own personal dollars to get the sale?
Exactly. Now that's true with any of my listings. I'm investing money in that home. It's a waste of my time and theirs if we're not able to, first of all, work together and communicate well, or price the house right, or stage it, or do the right pictures. I don't want that reputation out there for myself or for that listing.
Hey, Pamela, I got a question. If, let's say, because I know, everybody's house is like their child. My wife used to be a teacher. It's like, everybody's house is perfect. And,
Yes.
If they do have unrealistic expectations of what they can get for their house, and especially if the market's shifting, have you ever introduced them in some shape or form to their competition to show them what else is on the market and at what price, and say, listen, this is what you're competing against. You can't be so far out of whack that we're all wasting our time. Some
of the things you can do, a lot of agents bring in the comps. You've got the different comps.
Here's the comparable
Here's A, B, C, here's your comparables, and they usually know the comparables. They usually have Christmas parties at those comparables. They usually know them if they're in the neighborhood. But one of the things you want to do as a good agent, you want to take those people and bring them to the other houses.
Right.
You want, as if they're a buyer. Now we're going to look at this with the buyer's eye. There's a reason why we want to price it at this point. If you want to compete with Exhibit A, and let's go in there and look at it. The Christmas party is going to be completely different than what it's looking like right now after it's staged and cleaned and scrubbed and painted and the whole bit. So, yes, sometimes you have to bring them in. And that's at any price point.
And that goes back to the fact you probably know that agent as well, and y'all probably do that for each other, so it's good to have all those connections.
I really specialize. I've kind of put myself into a niche. I do Union County, and even more than that, I do certain school districts. Sure. I do a little bit of South Charlotte because they're moving into the Weddington, Marvin, Cuthbertson area, or because of where I'm at in my life, almost 50, just had a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of, all my kids, my 6 kids are almost grown up, and so I have a lot of downsizing happening. So they're leaving that district and going into South Charlotte.
Right.
Anything outside of that, I have a team around me that I refer it to. So I want to make sure that whoever I'm talking to, I can give them the best and highest quality of information for myself, and I know that area. It's my job to know every owner in those school districts, and I, on purpose, either connect with them through social media or through door knocking or something like that.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Really cool. All right, let's hit another one here under your multifaceted marketing approach with a luxury listing. You mentioned something about also leveraging other luxury home websites.
Yes.
So what are some of those sites and how do you do that?
Sometimes I can advertise on other sites.
Okay.
So that's pretty nice. I'm able to pay for those things to be able to say, yeah, here's one, and that has a lot to do with the relationship I have with the other luxury listing agents. So they can combine with mine, and I can combine with theirs. We have magazines, of course, that we connect with to be able to promote each other's stuff. It's very important to be able to connect with them.
And that's really kind of the last component.
Yeah,
You mentioned
it is.
about
The
teaming
leather,
up with other
yes.
luxury realtors
Yes.
especially.
I mean, I have coffee with them, lunch with them, we hang out, we go to our same events. It's important to mingle in that group.
Chris, how come we never get invited?
I know, I don't know.
We don't make the cut,
Well, I guess
man.
this is
What's
a
going
start.
on?
This is a
Yeah,
start.
It was a start. It was
Right?
a start.
All right, well, maybe you can
She's
join in.
Baby
You can
steps.
join in, yeah.
Baby steps. Just kidding.
We're not hanging out with the right people.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, cool. So I think we really did a good job at kind of hitting your marketing approach, and it's obviously very vast. So choosing your agent, communication, marketing, multifaceted approach, those are the first three key things that we talked about as strategies.
Mhm.
You say number 4 is pricing it right. Pricing the house right to sell your luxury home. What do you say to that?
Exactly. As Preston liked to point out, a lot of times our homes are our babies.
That's right.
That special
Mine-
dog or that
mine's the
sweet child of
nicest.
ours.
All
We've
your
been in it
memories
for
and
15 years or 20. My last one was 20 years. We raised 6 kids in it.
it's priceless in your
And yeah,
mind.
it's priceless. It is. We've done so much to it. And yet, the market isn't going to sustain something that's 500,000 over what it's really going to sell for.
I mean, it's a nice house, but
The
at the end of the day,
buyers
it's
aren't-
sticks and
buyers
bricks.
aren't
It's
It's
bricks
sticks and bricks.
sticks. You're
Yeah,
right.
And,
You're right.
and what do these sticks and bricks cost compared to those sticks and
Right.
bricks?
Now, there's some things that we can do to that house to make sure that it can get the absolute most out of that price. But we do want to keep it within the neighborhood, within the luxury market, make sure it doesn't if I've got a 20-year-old home and I have a new construction next to it, the same price, I'm not going to be able to compete unless I do a
You got a
tremendous
brand new
amount
roof, you got
to
a
that
brand new
house.
carpet,
If
you
it's
got
been a
brand new
fully
furnace.
knocked out renovated house, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some things we can do to
Um,
make sure it's spruced up the way it needs to be to compete. So, yes, pricing it right matters. And it's a matter of communicating to them about what's going on in the market. What are the owners around you saying? What do they have? Have I been in those homes? 9 times out of 10 I have.
Right.
Even if don't have a buyer with me, I'm out looking at those houses. I'm in them. Sometimes I have to convince the realtors that it's okay to let me in them just to look. If I don't have a buyer now, I will have one. So,
Right.
what the very next point would be that I want to do some things like the painting, the staging, to be able to make it completely current with today's market. Pre-inspecting is a really big deal, so I'm really glad Preston's here.
Yes, key step number
Key
5.
is let's find out what's really going on with that beautiful 20-year-old baby that you've got. Does it have a bad knee? Let's find out.
Yeah, well, it's going to come out anyway, so it's better to find out on the front end.
Exactly.
The problem with the way we normally do inspections is, we do inspections after you've had the financial negotiation. And a lot of times inspections have financial implications, and nobody wants to compromise after they've already compromised
Right.
once.
Once
So
the deal's
dollar
been-
signs are in the eyes.
Yeah.
But if you do it on the front end, get those things addressed or adjust the
Yes.
price, and they're looking at 2 houses, everything else being equal, one's been pre-inspected, there's less risk there
Yes.
because less risk of them losing their due diligence money.
Yes.
All right, so talk about, Preston, just so that our listeners can understand. A pre-inspection is when a seller decides to have your company come out and
Right.
fully inspect the property before it ever gets listed for sale.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely.
So the
Absolutely.
goal there is what?
Well, it is to find out all the problems ahead of time before
Okay.
before we have the financial negotiation.
Before.
Because, let's say there's, $10,000 worth of problems in the crawl space.
Right.
Well, now that we know ahead of time, you know what, we can get multiple bids on it. Maybe we can get it for 8 because,
Yes.
the contractors are a little slow right now.
Yes.
And we can get a guarantee. And now we have it pre-inspected, just like Carfax. We might get asked for $2,000 or $3,000 more on the house versus the other one because you have, a higher perceived value because of less risk.
Exactly.
There's a reason CarMax sells their, slightly higher price point than Ed's used cars, because they've all been pre-inspected. They
Right.
come with a warranty. We have warranties. And it's just less risk. It's a lot more in the presentation.
Absolutely.
And especially on that higher end, the higher end doesn't want problems. And
Not
they're
at
willing
all.
to pay a little bit more so that they just don't have to deal with problems. And that's what it does. It just let's find this out ahead of time, because if you find out about that $10,000 worth of problems after you've already negotiated, man, people don't want to compromise twice.
I love the, I
I
love
already
the
came
saying.
down on my price.
Exactly.
I'm moving my boxes out. Now I got to scrounge up.
Then they're upset, it becomes
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah.
If they do it beforehand, like Preston said, we've got time on our hands to be able to find the best value for them to fix it. And in that negotiation process, it's just, there's no issues at all.
Right.
Um,
Well, and now I will address the elephant in the room now, and I know sometimes it's a complaint that, you get the pre-inspection, the buyer comes in and have their own inspection. Now, he's gonna find a bunch of stuff. I recommend that. I think both people should have an inspection. But the way I always look at it is, look, I can go behind any home inspector and find small things.
Yes.
Any of them can come behind me and find small things. But if I pre-inspected a home and you found something over $3,000, I'll refund their money for the pre-inspection.
Wow, that's really cool.
Absolutely. So what we're trying to do is eliminate the deal killing thing.
yes, the
Yeah.
big item,
Big elephants.
like you said, the elephants on that thing, we don't wanna hide it, we wanna
Right.
expose it and fix it.
They're gonna find loose doors and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Light
But that's
switches.
that's not gonna kill a deal. But
Like seals
$10,000
for toilets.
underneath the bathroom rotted out, now that the potential deal killer right there. If they've already compromised as much as they want to begin with.
Perfect. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We have a lot more to talk about as we wrap up our key 7 strategies for selling a luxury home here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.